When talking about demonic possession, I think it's fair we ask the question, how do we know which religion is correct? There are thousands and thousands, perhaps millions of religions worldwide, and most of them follow the same concepts. We have the protagonist, God or gods, and we have the antagonist, the devil or devils. And most of these religions have some type of cleansing ritual, a ritual in which a person or people are called in to cleanse somebody that is reportedly inhabited by evil spirits. Now, I personally don't think this is anything more than just superstition and nonsense, but some people think this is very real. Now, let's go back 2,000 years. We may have been having a conversation about what lightning was, and the answer was, well, it was Thor. The god Thor was showing us his anger through lightning. 300 years ago, we may have actually been put to death because somebody thought we were demonically possessed. But through the progression of medicine and science, we no longer have to rely on the supernatural for an explanation anymore. We now know lightning is nothing more than an atmospheric discharge of electricity. And we know that demonic possession symptoms are usually the result of some psychiatric illness. And the line always seems to go one way. The supernatural always gets a natural explanation. It never goes in reverse. It's never the natural explanation turns to the supernatural explanation. So what I'm basically saying is, lightning will never again be equated with Thor, and the reason why somebody is kicking and screaming is because of demonic possession. That will never happen again. Now, let's just say you went to a psychologist and you told him you thought you were possessed by a demon. Well, the psychologist isn't going to recommend you get an exorcism done. And if you went to a psychiatrist and said the same thing, they're not going to prescribe God in the name of Jesus Christ. And if you were to open up the ICD-10 or the DSM-4, demonic possession is not even a recognizable condition. So, if you think you're suffering from any type of demonic possession symptoms, I recommend you go get medical attention and not consult with a church or an exorcist. But what I think is happening is one of four things. The first thing is the person actually believes they are possessed. This usually happens when the person is religious. Let's just look at the case of Annalisa Miguel. Now, if you don't know who this is, just go watch the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose. That movie is based off of her story. Although she has since passed away due to this tragedy, so it's almost impossible to give her a regular diagnosis, it is obvious that she suffered from some type of dissociative identity disorder, schizophrenia, and epileptic seizure. But the thing that's important to remember is when she died, the ones that were held responsible in the court of law were the clergy. They are the ones that got in trouble. Number two, the person is faking this for attention. This seems to be the motive behind Roland or Robbie Doe, the person that the novel The Exorcist and the movie The Exorcist is loosely based off of. He had a troubled childhood growing up, and people believe that he did this for attention and to stay home from school, and it just spiraled on from there. Number three, people have an overactive imagination. Think of it this way. When you go to see a stage hypnotist and they're calling people from the crowd in to quack like a duck and squeak like a monkey, they're not really subconsciously doing these acts. They're doing it because they know what the crowd expects from them and they know how to act. The same thing I see on these television shows involving church exorcisms. They know when to scream and they know when to faint. Number four, the person really is suffering from some type of psychotic mental illness. If this is the case, seek medical attention right away. One thing to remember is, just because somebody believes that demonic possession exists doesn't make it real. And just because somebody claims to be an exorcist doesn't make demons real. So what I suggest is we start living here on planet Earth and stop blaming our hardships and our struggles on superstitions.